In this movie, we continue working with our actions or nonlinear animation elements, and we'll take a look at now how we actually combine those back into the main timeline. So we are currently in the main timeline. We've created our walk cycle, standing, and then eye blink. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. We get Lenny in here so we can see him. At frame 1, I'm going to have Lenny move over here to the right a little bit. I'll go ahead and choose our layer translation tool so we can get him to walk. And then I'll say, let's go to timeline 12. I'll say insert another keyframe here. I want Lenny to still be standing here at keyframe 12 and then walk after keyframe 12. This will become important in just a second. Now, I want to have Lenny blink about 3 times during the course of this animation. So here's how we start working with that. I'm going to go ahead and move my timeline back here just between 6 and 12. I'll select eye blink and choose Insert Reference from the Actions palette. What this has done is inserted this little animation, but you may be looking at the timeline going, well, that's nice, but I don't see any indication of that whatsoever. Well, if we come down to the side view and select the layer over here in the Layers palette, what we'll see then is, since we've actually selected the layer that the animation was made on, we now see the keyframes on that same layer with the layer tools. So we've got this red extension bar that actually has the name of the action, eye blink, in it. We can see where it starts, we see how long it is, and where it finishes. So very cool little feature. If we come back to the side view of skeleton, that goes away. We don't see a keyframe. And if we come to the very top level of Lenny, then we can see that happen right there. So Lenny's standing. Let me go ahead and put in a couple more blinks. We can see Lenny blinking as I scrub the timeline. Come down to 24. Eye blink insert. Then I'll come down here to something more like about 55. We'll select eye blink and we'll insert that again. So now we get Lenny blinking several times over the course of our animation without having to recreate or re-keyframe anything. Nice trick, huh? Let's come back to time frame 12 here. I'm going to advance 1 frame using the step forward button. And at this point I'll insert walk cycle. So now Lenny's starting to walk. Whoa, where is that? We can come back down here to the bones layer and we see that walk cycle right there. He gets 1 full walk cycle in. At this point I am going to insert the standing option that we created. I'll say insert and he's standing. Now you notice we didn't animate the layer yet. So when we have Lenny doing stuff, he's just kind of moving in place. If I wanted, I could add another walk cycle here. If I didn't insert the actual stand view and we had this walk cycle actually cycle, if we went back and opened that and had a cycling function, well, actually I think we do. Let me double click that. We do have a cycling function. Unless you insert another animation or action like we did for standing, the walk cycle will just continue and continue and continue because it's got this cycling behavior. We'll go back to the main timeline. So if that's the case, how about maybe if well, we could just make Lenny walk longer and longer if we wanted. I'm going to stop him after 1 cycle. Press the keyboard shortcut 1, and we'll simply grab Lenny here, and we'll just move him down the field just a little bit for 1 cycle's worth of walking. We can see those 2 keyframes. He's standing, he walks, he stops, he blinks. If we wanted to continue Lenny walking, we can remove that 1 item we have in there. Let's take a look at that. I'll select that keyframe right there for our standing and delete that. And if we wanted to not insert that till right here, the standing cycle, at that point in the timeline, we can go ahead and insert standing, which means that for the rest of the time, Lenny is walking. We'll come back to the top level here. This is where we could use our graph editor and either slide Lenny down with the graph editor or simply go ahead and use the layer animation tool and move him down a little bit further. So now when we play this, Lenny walks. He stops. We need to fine tune that. But the walk cycle is carrying through the animation, and then he blinks. So very easily now you can create just a couple little animations and then repurpose that through your scope of project. Next thing we'll work at with the actions palette here is how to do a head turn, one of the most requested but sometimes the most difficult animation feature you can do in 2D animation.